Did you know that nearly two-thirds of Americans feel stuck in life, often because they're making decisions that feel right but secretly hold them back? Today, I'm going to share the three biggest traps keeping you stuck, and more importantly, how to break free. Trap 1. The safety blanket trap. Comfort is something we all crave, but sometimes it's exactly what keeps us stuck. Let me share a moment from my life when I had the chance to speak at a big work event. Although I had given presentations before, the thought of speaking in front of a large audience made my stomach turn. I kept thinking of ways to avoid it. Friends advised me to just skip it, or have someone else do it for you. At the time, this advice seemed helpful. It would protect me from the anxiety and fear of messing up in front of a crowd. But then, I had a conversation with a colleague who had years of experience speaking at major events. She told me, "Don't worry about being perfect. Focus on the message, not your fear. When you're 90 years old, will you regret not trying? Or will you remember the opportunity you missed because of your fear?" That simple question flipped everything for me. The moment I stepped onto that stage, all my fear melted away. What I realized was this: comfort can keep you exactly where you are. Growth happens on the other side of fear. If I had listened to the safer advice, I would have missed out on the chance to grow. Here's something to think about. Humans are like thermometers. We adjust to the temperature of our environment. If you're surrounded by people who think public speaking is scary, it becomes normal. But when you're surrounded by people who take on challenges and push boundaries, those same things suddenly feel achievable. Surround yourself with the right people, and suddenly your fears become much smaller. So, ask yourself, what's the temperature of the people around you? Are they pushing you to grow, or are they keeping you comfortable? Because the more you surround yourself with people who are taking risks, growing, and challenging themselves, the more that mindset becomes a baseline. Trap 2. The maybe tomorrow trap. Next up is the trap I call maybe tomorrow. This is where procrastination happens, not because you're lazy, but because you're letting fear disguise itself as responsibility. How many times have you thought, "I'll start tomorrow when I have more time," or "once everything is perfect, I'll dive in"? Sounds like responsible thinking, right? But here's the thing. Every day you wait isn't just a missed day. It's a missed opportunity for growth. Think about it. If you want to make YouTube videos and keep pushing it off, you're not just missing that first video. You're missing out on the skills you would have developed from making it, the feedback you could have received, the momentum you would have built, and the audience who might have found you. This is like compound interest, but in reverse. The longer you wait, the more you lose. Think about how the gap between where you are and where you could be just grows over time. So here's the question. What would you do if you gave yourself permission to be bad at it? That's the key to breaking out of this trap. Giving yourself the freedom to fail, to be messy, to learn publicly. Because that's how anything worth doing starts. Trap 3. The complexity trap. Now let's talk about the complexity trap. We tend to overcomplicate things. The more we get stuck, the more complex the solutions we come up with. For example, I know someone who wanted to start working out. Initially they said, "I'll just go to the gym 3 times a week." But guess what? They didn't start. A month later, I checked in, and they had changed the plan. I need the perfect workout split, the right app, new gym clothes, and meal prep containers. Still no gym visits. Another month later, they had signed up for a fitness subscription but had bought even more equipment. Yet, they still hadn't started. The more they added, the more excuses they found. This happens everywhere. People who want to start a business get stuck planning the perfect website instead of actually talking to their first customer. People who want to create content waste months designing a strategy instead of making the first video. And here's the trick. The more complexity you add, the further you get from actually starting. Look at the biggest companies in the world. Amazon didn't start by selling everything. They started by selling books. Facebook wasn't always this massive social platform. It was just a way for college students to connect. The first iPhone barely did anything compared to what it does now. They didn't wait for everything to be perfect. They started with what they had and iterated. If you're stuck in the complexity trap, you need to ask yourself, what's the simplest version of this that could work? What could I do today with what I already have? Instead of asking for more tools or more planning, just ask, how can I simplify this? To sum it all up, these three traps, the safety blanket trap, the maybe tomorrow trap, and the complexity trap, are all just different ways our minds try to keep us from growing. They make us feel responsible, safe, and productive. But in reality, they're keeping us stuck. So next time you feel like you're about to fall into one of these traps, ask yourself these questions. 1. Is this decision based on comfort or growth? 2. What would I do if I gave myself permission to start messy? 3. How can I simplify this and take action today? Breaking free from these traps isn't about being perfect. It's about getting started, learning as you go, and making progress, no matter how small. Let me know, which trap have you fallen into, and what's the first action you're going to take to break free? Drop a comment below. In my next video, I show you how you're not behind and my system to 10 times your self-discipline. Tap subscribe if you want to stay in the loop. Give this video a like if it was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.